Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the New Year, New You Thrive in 2025 by setting up goals and habits that stick. I'm Samia. I'm your host for today, and I'm really thrilled that we're here. Um, we're gonna go through the agenda right now and then discuss more in detail the webinar. So what's the plan? First, we're going to discuss the value of goal setting, why resolutions fail. We all heard that in the past. We're going to learn how to be smart, and I'm going to be giving you some practical tips for that you can take away with you. And this webinar will last about 30 minutes. We will cut the recording after the 30 minutes, and then we can go ahead with the Q&A without having this recording on. So only the presentation will be recorded. First, who am I? Let me tell you a little bit about me. So I'm a certified life and well-being coach. I'm the CEO and founder of Life Creators. So basically, my mission is to help people, especially neurodivergent individual, specialized in neurodivergent women, just to help them embrace their uniqueness and design their lives, and especially the life that they want and the life that they deserve. So I have a full-time job, as you may have seen by just Googling my name. I work in finance. Historically, I've been a finance person, but I've been doing life creators and well-being coaching for years. I've also given a webinar in corporate, like large companies, and trained their leaders to be more empathic and incorporate their well-being in the way they lead. I've also been doing well-being plans for big teams in different companies in energy and out of energy. So I started Life Creators about 10 years ago because I do believe that everyone has the potential to create a fulfilling, purposeful life. And it doesn't matter where is your starting point. You can be at the complete beginning, you can be in the middle of their journey. It really doesn't matter. But so what I will be doing today, I'll be sharing tips and strategy to set realistic goal, avoid common mistakes, and build habit that stick. So let's dive in. So what is the value of goal setting? And sorry, I'm looking a bit up because for me the PowerPoint is on top of my camera. But so what is the value of goal setting? Well, let's start with why setting goal is so powerful. First of all, it does provides clarity. Yeah. A goal gives you a clear direction. It's a bit like a compass, which is why I've put the compass just right there if you can see it. It really helps you focus, and it gives you that direction and that purpose on what truly matters. Second, it motivates you to take action. So, knowing the destination is a motivation to take the trip. We all been on the day before the holidays where we know where we want to go, right? So, if you live in Paris, for example, that was my case. I know I'm going to go to south of France. I know I'm going to see the beach, and I'm very thrilled, very excited, and I enjoyed the journey. Why? Because I know my destination. So when you know your destination and the destination is somewhere you want to be, the journey is absolutely amazing and you do enjoy it. Even if you have the bits and bumps that are a bit annoying, like, I don't know, traffic, it doesn't matter, but you still enjoy it because you're thinking, all right, I'm going this place. So when you know when you're headed, it's easier to get moving. Um, why is it also so important to set your goals? It builds momentum. Every small win adds up and it boosts your confidence. It keeps you going. It builds you up and it gives a positive stroke. And we all know that the more positive event or the more positive action you get in your life, the more your life will be positive, right? Yeah, each energy attract itself. So the more positivity you have, the more positive you will be attracting. The more negativity and failure you have, the more you will be closing up on yourself and prone to fail more. So building momentum is important. And we'll go more in detail about that and why it's important to build steps by step, right? It's not going straight to the end goal. Finally, why it's so important to set the goals, because it keeps you accountable. Goals remind you of your priorities, even if the life gets busy, right? Think of goals as the blueprint of your dream. Without them, it's like you're trying to build a house without a plan. So you will quickly feel overwhelmed and unfocused. But if you set clear goals, you take control of your life and you create really this roadmap to the success. So it helps you stay on track when you share it. And this is where it's important. When you share it, you need to share it with people that you trust. You need to share it with people that are accountable, that want your good. You don't want to be sharing your goals with someone who will be sabotaging you, or with someone who is cynical, right? So we'll get a bit more into that a bit later. But hopefully that's clear. Any question, write them down. Any question, put them on the chat, and we'll go through them at the end. I'm just really trying to get this presentation out of the way, and then we can have half an hour of discussion, which would be really helpful for everyone in here, including me. So, a goal without a plan is just a wish, and that's by Antoine Saint-Exupéry. So this, I wanted to put it there because that's an important point. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I think you should take the time to write this down. And that's by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. If you don't know him, I strongly encourage you to Google him. One of the pioneers of French literature. Right, let's move on. Habits is the foundation of success. Now, let's talk about that. We said that goals were the destination, right? Habits are the vehicle that gets you there. Actually, do you know what? Let's just do something. I don't want to start like this. Let's start by why the resolution fail. Yeah, let's start with that. Let's mix it up a little bit. So why the resolution fail? That's hard truth, but that is true. Most of the resolution fail. You know that studies shows that 80% of resolution that are set as of 1st of January goes to the bin by the first week of February, which means that 80% of goals and resolution and everything you want to set up on 1st of Jan, 6 weeks later, they're no longer there. Why is that? Why? It's very simple. They're too vague. Let's say, I want to be healthier. It's very vague. I want to quit smoking. Very vague. That's not actionable. It's too broad, you know? So vague is one of the reasons why resolution fail. And this is where you will distinguish resolution and goals, right? These are not the same thing. Goals have a true purpose, and we'll speak about it later. Resolution is more of a wish. Next thing is unrealistic expectation. We try to do too much, too fast, and burn out. And then it's just impossible to reach it. Example, I'll give my example. Last year, 1st of January, I was thinking, do you know what? By the end of the year, I'll be fully fluent in Spanish, and I left it there. I was not fluent in Spanish. I was not even a beginner level in Spanish. Why? Simply because that was completely unrealistic. I live in the UK. I don't have any Spanish friends around. So trying to be fluent with no courses, no nothing, just by doing 5 minutes of Duolingo, I just gave up. After Q1, I was done. You know, I started speaking Spanish only on holiday, and it's all just to ask the same thing. Un cappuccino sin lactosa, por favor. That's not going to get me fluent. You need a plan, which is what I did this year. So I'll speak to you end of December to see if I made it. But unrealistic. Not having a plan, which is the exact same thing of what I just said now. Not having a plan in place. Without a roadmap, even the best intention fizzled out. Lack of accountability. If you have no one's there to check on you and to cheer you up, you're most likely going to give up on your goal. Misaligned with values. If your resolution is not in line with your values and with your vision, long-term vision, actually, just on that, I give a seminar specifically for that, and I actually have a newsletter on vision and how to set it up. So you need to be aligned with your vision, and to be aligned with your vision, you need to know yourself. You need to know what are your values, and for that, you need to do a bit of work on yourself. Motivation. We rely on motivation alone, and motivation is not enough. We need more than motivation and willpower. We need habits. We need to use our subconscious mind in order to succeed. The key to success is structure, strategy, habit, discipline, and consistency. That's where SMART goal comes in. So we're going to speak about SMART goals right now, and then I'll come back to the habit. I didn't forget about it. So the SMART goal framework, let's speak about that. It's probably the most important part here. What are SMART goals? SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely or time-bound, depending on how you want to call them. Let's give it a go, right? Specific. So you need to define exactly what you want to achieve. Exactly. That needs to be like a target, you can't miss it. Example, instead of I want to be healthy or I want to do exercise, switch it a little bit to I'll do a workout 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Now that's specific. Measurable. Track your progress. So there's a few ways of doing that, which is why I put two different drawing here. The first one that you can see where it's written KPI on the top right of the screen. This here is tracking it by making numbers. Example, I want to write a book by the end of the year. Measure it. Every month I will be writing a chapter. And then every month you check, did I write this chapter? Maybe every week I write 2 pages, 3 pages. And then you can track it. You have your KPI here. But the other thing, the second point of measurable is accountability. And we spoke about it earlier. I will speak about it more later. Accountability is your key to success. A lot of people think they're like an island. Oh, I don't need anyone. I'm not relying on people. That's for weak. No, that's not how it works. If you rely on people, it's where you will succeed. First, you get a network. Second, you have someone who tells you, hey, by the way, did you write those pages this month? That's social pressure. So it will force you to write those pages because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to see this guy later on, seeing him next week. I know we speak about my goals. I need to write that because I'm going to look like a fool. Nobody wants to look like a fool. So, accountability partner. And if you don't really trust anyone in your surrounding, if your friends are not as supportive as you thought they would be, first thing, change your friends. But the second thing, either join an accountability group, join a community. For example, if you're a woman neurodivergent, you can join my community on LinkedIn. Get a coach. Everything can be helpful. You don't need to rely on family and friends if they're not supportive. You can rely on other people. There are other networks for that. Achievable. Achievable, it's all about being realistic. And that's the difference between goals and resolution, right? Resolution is, oh, I'm going to look like J-Lo by the end of the year, or I'm going to be Beyonce by the end of the year. That's not going to happen. Beyonce and J-Lo didn't become Beyonce and J-Lo in 1 year. It took them years and years of hard work. So what you need to do is set it up. If your goal is Jennifer Lopez, just work on it. Maybe by the end of the year, you're a bit fitter. Maybe you lost 10 kg, sorry. Maybe you've eaten five fruit and vegetable per day. It doesn't matter, but make it like, achievable, step by step. If you want to run a marathon, example, you want to run a marathon, you're not going to say, all right, I'm going to run a marathon. That's the goal. No, you want to run a marathon, but to run a marathon, this is where you have to build up the mini goals. That's what I call the mini goals. So you have your 12 months goal. I want to run a marathon. So to run a marathon, 42K by the end of the year, how much do I need to run by Q3? So in October or September, I need to be able to run 35K, which means that in July, June, mid-year, I need to be able to run 20K, 22K, etc., etc. And then you all put it to this week. I have a whole thing about setting goals and helping people to set up goals. So we can catch up after. Um, Absolutely no problem. I actually offer a free session so we can discuss that. Or you can go on my website, www.lifecreators.com. And on my website, you will find a whole thing on how to set up goals and vision, etc. Um, but achievable is extremely important because if you have a very high goal, you won't be able to reach it. And this is gonna set you up for failure because you will give up. What did we do? Specific, measurable, achievable. The R, smart, is relevant. So align the goals with your priority. Is it relevant? Is it in line with your vision? Is it in line with your values? Is it in line with what you want? So if, I don't know, let's say if your health is your focus, yeah, and you set the goals of fitness or nutrition, don't, if you really your focus this year or your focus, your vision is to be healthy because you have been unhealthy for years and this is just, you're done with this. You want to be healthy. That's your priority. Set goals about nutrition, fitness, etc. Don't set a goal about, oh, I'm going to be working more hours to make more money because it will probably make you less healthy because you won't have time for your health. So try to coordinate your goals with what is important to you. If your family is important, maybe thinking, oh, I'm going to work on Wall Street and be a trader is not going to match it. So think about it. Finally, timely, time bound. What does that mean? That just means set up a deadline. For example, by June 30, 2025, I will have run a 10K. That's if you want to run a marathon, right? Or by June 30, 2025, which is halfway through the year, I will lose 5 kg, sorry. So I will lose 5 kilos. Maybe it can be by 31st of March 2025, I would have written 3 chapters of my new book. When your goals are smart, they are more likely to stick. And if they stick, then you're good. You just change your life, right? Make them also visible. They need to be visible. They need to be in your face, Like my goals, I just do that and I can see them. They're right here on a big, fat whiteboard. Like I can't miss them, right? If I'm looking at my screen right now, I just turn my head and I see a card that reminds me of my goal. Look up, I can see a card that reminds me of my goal. There, I can see a card that reminds me of my goal. They're always in my face, so I don't miss them. They're on my phone. I have a journal that I carry around. I have post-its. So always in your face, especially if you're a neurodivergent person, you will need that because you need this constant reminder, right? Um, Again, there's something that I dig a little bit more into detail in newsletters. I'm being conscious of the time here because I've been talking too much. So let's go back to the habits, shall we? So the habits is the foundation of success. Again, I'm sharing a whole thing about habits. I can recommend a couple of books like Atomic Habit, The Power of Habits. If you haven't read those 2 books, I strongly recommend you to read them. I'm also doing a whole podcast that I'll be releasing on the 30th of January or 29th of January, next Wednesday. So make sure to listen to it. If you're looking at the recording of this webinar, it probably means the podcast is already out. So just have a look on Spotify. But habits. So habits create stability. They automate progress and they reduce decision fatigue. Why is that? So when you have goals set in the right direction, the habits that you're putting in place, they keeps you moving because you don't think about it. It's your subconscious. You are not using your willpower, which means that it's just you're not even thinking about it. It's a bit like if you're brushing your teeth. You wake up, you go brush your teeth. You don't really think about it, right? So try to understand that having habits, it's a stability. And having this stability makes you uh, be creative on other things. Small actions, but big impact. So even the tiniest habit, when they're done consistently, they lead to huge results. If you have a small change, but that you do consistently, there is much more effectiveness in this process than just doing a big change one day. So, example, I think it was Darren Hardy who said that. Darren Hardy said that if you're on a plane, right, or Tony Robbins, can't remember, credit to the right person, whoever it is, Tony Robbins, Darren Hardy, you're on a plane and this plane moves by 1%, 1% direction, just 1%. In 10 hours, if you were supposed to be in New Delhi, you're probably going to end up in Sydney in Australia or like Helsinki, you know? But if there is a big change straight away, the plane can just go back. Whereas 1%, none of the passenger will realize it. But if you straight away change the plane, everybody on board is going to freak out because you will feel it. Your cells and your little voices in your head, they're the passengers. If you change too much too quickly, they're going to panic. But if you change 1% daily, they're not even going to realize it. So think about it. Small actions, big impact. You want to lose 10 kilos by the end of the year. You know it means 5 kilos by mid-year, which means that you know it's probably about 1 kilo a month or 800 grams a month. What do you do first? You're not gonna cut off everything. Some people, have people telling me just cut carbs completely. I can't cut carbs completely. It's not possible. My everything tells me that if I do that, I will end up in jail. So I'm not gonna do that. But what I can do is cut off slightly on the carbs, a little bit by a little bit every day. Or what I can do is just eat more vegetables. Or I can just add 1 scoop of protein. If I add 1 scoop of protein, I'll be more full. So maybe I won't enjoy that much the carbs. Thinking like trying to trick yourself and changing a little bit by little bit every day. At the end of the day, habits will support your goals. They build momentum, they keep you moving, they automate your daily action. So you will have more energy just to do something else, you know? That's what truly matters. Having time to think about something else, to be creative. Yeah? So if your goal is to read 12 books a year, the habit could be reading just 10 minutes every day. Why are you going to be reading 10 minutes every day? Because then you will be used to reading. You will just pick up the book without realizing. Maybe it can be every time you go on the train, you read. It doesn't matter how long is your journey, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. You just read. It's probably one page, but then you will enjoy it. And little you probably read on the way to go to the office, on the way back. Maybe it can be after you brushed your teeth in the evening before going to bed, you sit on your couch and you just read 10 minutes. But make sure to embed a new habit into an existing habit. And this is something that we can talk about more in another webinar, or like you contact me directly, because this is a whole session on how to implement new habits. And we don't have time today. We really don't have time. I am just seeing the time and I keep talking. So some practical tips, as promised. Know your why. What's your value? What do you want in life? Who are you? Why do you want to go where you're going? Why did you choose this goal? If your why is powerful, nothing else will matter. You will be able to go through every every issue, every problem. Excuse me, but English is my third language. All right. So second, define your goals based on your long-term vision. So that's what we were talking. You know your why. Once you know your vision, you set up your goals based on that, not the opposite. You do not define your goals and then, oh, okay, my value are this. No, no. You set up who are you, why you want to go, where you're going, and then only you define your goals. So you need to know your vision, long-term vision, medium-term vision, goals. Make small changes and keep consistency. Keeping consistency doesn't mean being perfect. I talk about that in my podcast. It means that even if there is challenges, if you go on holiday, if you don't go to the gym for 1 week, go back to it as soon as possible. Don't give up. Don't think, oh no, ate a big burger yesterday. Well, I guess that's it then. My whole diet for the year is gone. No, you ate a burger yesterday. You enjoyed it. It was good. You filled up your stomach. Right. Tomorrow, I'll just be careful. And you go back onto your routine. And fourth, which is the last but not least, have an accountability partner. Having an accountability partner is super, super essential. This is what will get you really from being a dove to being an eagle. This is what will switch completely the whole thing. This is what will make you successful. I cannot emphasize that enough. So, before we wrap up, I want you to take action. If you're feeling inspired, contact me and book a free session with me at livecreators.com. Or you can just drop me an email or we can just chat after this meeting. But for those who are watching the recording, drop me a message. This is the first action I want you to do. Completely free, absolutely no tie to nothing. Let's just have a chat. Second thing is follow my platforms to stay up to date on the new resources like my newsletter, podcast, all of that. You won't be spammed. It's about once a month. Maybe the newsletter will go to once a week very soon, but at the moment it's once a month. Here on the screen, you have some testimonials of people well rated 5-star by absolutely everyone. We don't have a 4-star or a 3-star or even a 2-star or 1-star. We all have only 5-star. We're a 5-star organization. So don't hesitate just to contact, have a free session, discover what coaching is. If you're new to coaching, if you're not new to coaching, you can just think about it and discuss. Thank you so much. So don't hesitate to approach us. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you really found this helpful. I hope you're leaving with practical tips and a new motivation. Remember that it's not perfection. It's all about progress. So if you have question or want to connect, you can stay on the call. I'm going to be cutting the recording. And you can also visit my website, www.livecreators.com. So let's create something amazing together. Let's make you create the life you want, and let's make you create the life you deserve.